Brightlingsea sits within the Thames estuary on a creek, a tributary of the Colne. Since Roman times, the area, at which time it was an island, it's experienced regular accumulation of silt. Now it's not an island, that silt build-up still continues. Maintenance of the depth is a significant factor in revenue generation, and ships are only able to access the port with sufficient depth. Visiting yachts too want the confidence that once they reach the outer reaches of Brightlingsea Harbour, they can enter without having to wait for a rising tide.
Exo Environmental provides a range of consultancy and surveying services for the marine and aquatic environment. We've been active with beneficial use of dredge material in East Anglia for over 6 years. The Brightlingsea Creek is known for commercial and recreational maritime activities, but also because of its outstanding coastal habitats, including Ramsar, SSSI, SPA, SAZ and MCZ. The various users and interested user groups make Brightlingsea a tricky place to navigate with respect to project development and management.
We commissioned the project to mitigate the effects caused by natural deposition of the sediment. This accumulation caused significant issues of the safe, efficient and profitable operation of the harbour, with a calculated volume of 35,000 cubic metres of sediment in the navigational channels and harbour. The harbour wasn't able to work at its full potential, significantly reducing the number of ships, fishing and recreational vessels entering the harbour. This in turn impacts on the local economy, Brightlingsea and the wider community.
The aim of this project was to use marine dredge sediment in coastal salt marsh as coastal defence measures, while simultaneously improving navigational access within the creek. To achieve this, a programme of maintenance dredging will be implemented in the creek from 2016 to 2020, using that sediment as a resource to regenerate intertidal salt marsh and mudflat along key locations including St Osoph Borough Pits, South Channel and Sindri Island. To achieve these aims and address the problem, Brightlingsea Harbour and EXO developed a project design based on nature-based solutions and working with nature, working closely alongside CDAB and PIANC working groups, looking specifically at the beneficial use of marine sediment. The project was designed to utilise waste dredge material in nature-based coastal defence, reducing carbon emissions, reversing long-term habitat degradation and creating a circular economy of sustainability. One of the main areas targeted for work as part of this project were the St Osoph Borough Pits. In response to the 1953 flooding, clay was dug from the salt marsh for the seawall construction in the mid-60s. As part of USAR, we pumped dredge material into the pits to fill them, thus reducing the risk of erosion and regenerating salt marsh habitat by providing a substrate for pioneering halophytes to colonise, such as samphire.
In order to deliver this creative endeavour meant that the pits had to be prepared to receive the material. Construction of the deposited material dams along the length of the pits and timber sluice gates to allow excess water from the pits to drain back into the creek were required. Once these sluices were complete, dredging and pumping could begin. The dredged material settles out of suspension, forming a fine layer of mud and silt, suitable for biocolonisation.
Further measures implemented included the construction of brushwood fences on Sindri Island along the South Channel. These act as tow protection, absorbing wave energy, slowing the flow and encouraging deposition of suspended sediment, building up sediment levels and suitable habitat for salt marsh to develop and colonise.
These measures were designed on regenerating the salt marsh habitat, a key energy absorbing ecosystem. This encourages deposition of sediment which protects the creek from erosion, reducing the volume of sediment in the creek and thus reducing the cost and frequency of future dredging operations. Salt marsh is also immune to sea level rise in terms of flood protection. This is certainly a consideration for the future. During the lifetime of the project, there were various challenges and achievements. One of the first challenges the project faced was licensing complexity, the time frame and high costs involved.
However, to meet this challenge, the project engaged with stakeholders, including the Wildlife Trust and RSPB, to develop a strong license application within the time frame available and meeting licensing deadlines set out by the Marine Management Organisation. Another significant challenge faced by the project included adhering to various environmental protection legislation. This prevented dredging activities during fish spawning, bird breeding and overwintering seasons.
This meant work had to be carried out during the winter months, creating difficult working conditions. Problems were overcome in a number of ways by prioritising safety, using PPE, dry suits and personal locator beacons. These measures were essential. Water temperature this time is around 3 degrees Celsius, which meant staff would require situational awareness, hazard identification skills, understanding of the tides and wearing appropriate clothing to reduce the risk of drowning or hypothermia.
By adapting to these challenges, the project was able to meet one of its main goals and deepen the main navigational channel, facilitating larger commercial vessels including wind farm support and cargo vessels, as well as enhancing recreational boating opportunities, increasing economic output of the harbour, benefiting the whole community. The project also demonstrated the feasibility of using sediment as a resource and using nature in coastal management strategies.
As well as the nature-based solutions implemented during this project, Brightsea Harbour Commissioners continue to explore historic as well as innovative solutions to the harbour, including brushwood faggots, polder, and the deployment of geoblock technology projects, eco-rock armour and piling habitats. The innovative history will help Brightsea Harbour Commissioners further develop solutions with nature at their heart. And Brightsea Harbour Commissioners is committed to future projects involving nature and hybrid nature-based solutions. The project team has learned a great deal during the course of the project. However, these lessons learned are only of value if they're further developed. Pursuing government and lobby groups to incentivise projects like this and demanding that they remove barriers such as the definition of waste material. Working with nature should always be integral with any construction design and not exclusive. We're currently engaged in sharing our knowledge with outside national and international agencies. We've even won an international award. Brightsea Harbour Commissioners welcome anyone to the harbour to have a look at what we've achieved.